The following podcast is part of the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. For advertising information or to find more great podcasts, visit us at www.theunderdogsports.com and follow us on Twitter at RealTheUnderdog.
Okay. Well, just for the record, we got the sunny in Phoenix too. 52.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunny in Phoenix podcast, a weekly podcast where we keep you up to date on everything Phoenix Suns basketball. My name is Charlie Erling, and as always, I'm joined by Mitch Krmpotich.
I don't know about you, but I don't feel great.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Yep, a couple rough games there against the Nuggets to start off the series. We find ourselves down 0-2. But luckily, we're heading back to the Valley for these next two games. On this episode, we'll break down those first two, take a quick look at the next two, and that's about all we'll have for you today.
Shout-outs are in order for our bet question from last episode. Shout-out to Omar at midcard@best on Twitter. We are guessing DeAndre Ayton rebounds in Game 2. Ayton had 8, and Omar said 8, hit it right on the dot. So the fans are right on the dot, too. We've been very close. The fans probably closer. Between the two of us, Chuck, you won this one. You said 11, I said 12, so you win. The season series, you now lead 9-7, and the playoffs are now, you have a 2-1 lead. So it's not looking good for me, depending on how many games we have left here.
That's true. It might be getting down to the nitty-gritty. But we'll talk about that a little more later in the episode. All right, let's hop right into it. Really tough seeing the team go down 0-2. And it's a hostile environment in Denver. That's a tough place to play with the elevation and obviously just the Nuggets themselves being a very good team. And that absolutely showed in both games 1 and 2. But we'll start off with game number 1. And there wasn't a ton to complain about Suns-wise. Well, there are some things. But the team overall played pretty decently. But, man, the Nuggets got off to just a great start in this game, in the series overall. They went 16 for 37 from downtown. And I think that's where the biggest difference in this game was. We only hit 7 threes out of our 23 attempts. So it just seemed like they were putting up a lot of threes and making them, and that's because it's true. That's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to 3-point shooting, probably more than anything. Turnovers and offensive rebounding, of course, like it usually comes down to. But the takeaway I have from Game 1 is the Nuggets are really good. And I kind of was forced to eat my words a little bit when I said I'm not worried about the Nuggets. I'm thankful, though, because I don't have to eat my words about Jamal Murray. I had said he is good, get ready. We cannot take him lightly. I know a lot of Suns fans were maybe overlooking him a little bit. No, Jamal Murray is really, really good. I know he was not nearly as good in Game 2, but in Game 1, he showed just how good he is. So, yeah, the big takeaway is the Nuggets are really good.
Yeah, 34 points for Murray in Game 1 with 9 assists and 2 steals and 5 rebounds, 13 for 24 from the floor, 6 for 10 from downtown. Us as a team only hit 7 threes, so just one more than Murray hit in that game.
Right. So now I'm confused why we only took 23 threes. I mean, I don't know how this would come out in like a relative sense, but that's almost like 80s numbers, 70s, 80s numbers. That is not a lot of 3-point shots. Why did we take so few?
Yeah, it's weird looking at the box score with Chris Paul shooting the most, going 1 for 5. Then Damian Lee in 12 minutes put up 4, which is the second most. And
I just don't understand.
Booker only shoots 1, KD only shoots 3. And man, I know Booker's been making it a point to not be settling more or less this entire playoff so far. Trying to It seems like he's not putting up a ton of threes, getting to the line quite a bit. But man, when you have a shooter like Devin Booker, you need to find some opportunities for more than 1 3 and more than 3 threes for Kevin Durant. Those are very low numbers.
Right. And it did get better in game 2, but I just don't understand. I mean, I tried my very best to say, oh, game 1 was a feel-out game. But, I mean, I don't think that was the case. I do not understand exactly what the game plan was there. I mean, they're hitting 3 after 3. They hit 16 threes. I don't understand why, Monty isn't saying, pull the trigger, take some threes. It would be different if we just missed a bunch and we still attempted a halfway average amount. I believe the average is just over 30 a game. But, I mean, 23, that's so low.
And another baffling thing about this game is overall the 13-man rotation.
Yeah.
And we did throw some guys in towards the end. Campaign and Ross, I know, got some junk minutes at the very end, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ish Wainwright made a pretty early appearance in this game.
He did.
Which is... Oh,
I don't get it.
One good thing of note, and we'll talk about this later, Monty said that Ross and Warren are getting a look and maybe getting into this game for some help on the offensive end for game 3. I have my fingers crossed for that. Something's got to change.
Here's my thing. That needed to happen in the Clippers series. Why was that not? I do not understand these rotations one bit.
No,
it is
been
such a
perplexing for sure. I don't get it. I mean,
I'm no coach. I understand that the playoffs are a different game, and there are some guys that just don't play very well in the playoffs. But I just don't get not even trying when our bench has struggled for the entire playoffs so far.
Yeah, you might as well give them a little shot. I mean, even Darius Baisley, why not?
I don't know.
Why not? Just something a little different. Trouble. Give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then meanwhile, the Nuggets are able to, they cleared their bench out a little bit in this one, but they run a really tight rotation with Green, Brown, and Brown, all colors.
Yeah. That's funny. I just realized that. That's funny.
One's spelled a little differently, but it's pronounced the same. So I wish we had something tight like that. And I think I saw something that Christian Brown is the only rookie still getting minutes in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, that's right.
He's doing it for the number 1 seed. So that kid, he's got something. We've seen some great little defensive spurts out of him, and I think he's going to be a really good player.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, it just goes back to the fact that the Nuggets are really good. And I've been hearing some kind of interesting commentary on does the regular season matter? And a lot of people are saying the Nuggets are proving that the regular season matters. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. I've always been more on that side of the regular season does matter, and home court advantage makes a big difference and all of that. But yeah, I think the Nuggets are a prime example of that.
Yeah, it seems like they're doing a much better of proving it than what we did last year.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
But the series isn't over yet, so let's not get too far.
That's true. Yes.
Let's not get too crazy. All right, game 1 though, that was obviously that was tough. Not a fun one to see. Honestly, we just got handled. And then we move into game 2. And man, you can maybe get a little more excited about a few certain things, but there's other such glaring things from this game that just stick out like a sore thumb. We lose 97-87.
Oh.
87 points with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker on the roster, which is unheard of. 4 points from the bench.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, that was bad.
2 from Biyombo, 2 from Campaign. 0 from Craig in 11 minutes, 0 from Landale in 5, 0 for Damian Lee in 26. Damian Lee made himself useful in some other ways and wasn't getting beat up out there by any means, but that's a tough showing. And another starter with 2, another starter with 8. That's just a dismal scoring performance for a team like ours.
Yes.
That was sad.
KD had an off game. I mean, that didn't help anything either.
2 for 12 from downtown.
Yeah. I'm glad we attempted more shots. I mean, I can only be so critical because I literally said just take more, even if you're missing them.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just not KD usually. He usually makes them at a much better clip, and very uncharacteristic game for him. I mean, turnovers. KD has had turnover issues in both of these games so far. And what I'm kind of thinking is game 2 made it very apparent that the Suns have played 13 games with Kevin Durant. The chemistry just is not there.
Right.
So that gives me a lot of hope for next year, but we're not in next year. We're still trying to win games here.
Yeah. And a big part of that, what we were just talking about, Chris Paul goes down with a groin injury in this one. I think that's a big part of what made us look so poor in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. With no Chris, we just looked lost out there.
We did. I mean, he was actually playing a really good game. And, I mean, when you look at that replay, it doesn't hardly even look like anything happened. But what are you hearing about his return? Because I've heard like 5 different things all just today.
Yeah, I saw too many different things to be able to even want to go with one of the answers.
Right.
Some of them made it sound like he could play game 3.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I don't know about that. Then I saw something like if it's grade 1, so many weeks. If it's grade 2, so many weeks. If it's grade 3, see you next season, or whatever the situation was. If that's reversed, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to think. I'll say it. I just want to see Campaign play. Something different needs to happen out there. Campaign didn't play well in game 2. I'm not going to try to make it sound like he did, but we need a jolt somewhere, and maybe that's a good place to start. Let's see what happens. We don't need to play Chris if he's hurt at all. Right. In this game. It makes 0 sense to do it.
Right. I agree with you on that one. Yeah. I think I'm more in the favor of just put Torrey Craig out there and just let Booker and Durant bring the ball off the court.
I'm not opposed to that either, honestly. Either one of those methods sounds pretty good to me. And, size-wise, I wouldn't mind Okogie and Craig both out there.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, what I've heard of the injury is that it's just groin tightness. It's not a strain or anything like that necessarily, just tightness. Now, I don't know if – here's the thing. It's the playoffs. We're not going to get this information until next season probably. So we don't really know the severity of this. They keep all this data so close to the vest this time of year. So that makes it kind of hard for us to speculate on how long he'll actually be affected.
Yeah, and then if you add up all of the playoff minutes for veteran Chris Paul at this point, we're probably pushing 150, 200 minutes of playoff basketball. I'm not sure the exact number. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be 100%.
No.
By game 3. By game 4, I doubt it. But even after that, man, do you want a 75% Chris Paul out there?
I know, that's the question. Yeah.
Especially when the season's going to be on the line by that point, likely.
Mm-hmm. I know it. Yeah. So, I mean, but, I was kind of looking at this. I'm like, this is what happens every year. We have to expect this at this point. As awful as it is, it's the I'm shocked but not surprised thing.
Yeah. That's true. And then
it's just unfortunate.
It is. And then we're all thinking, yeah, this is why we got Kevin Durant, though. And then Kevin Durant goes 2 for 12 from downtown in this same game. And it just doesn't quite shine the way we expected it to. But man, we'll have to see. There's still plenty of basketball to be played. And
yeah, all right.
It continues with Game 3 on Friday. That'll be at 7 o'clock on ESPN. And luckily, we're back home in front of the Valley faithful. Some home court advantage from the fans. That's something that the team will need in this one if they want to get off to a hot start and secure a win, because as soon as we lose a game at home, it's series over. So it's more or less do or die these next 2 games at home.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I guess this is probably a good time for me to bring up my interesting point that I have in our outline. So I heard this earlier today, or maybe yesterday. It doesn't matter, time of recording. And it changed my perspective entirely. You know who blew a 2-0 lead with home court advantage in the past?
Who?
We did 2 years ago. And when I heard that, I was like, this isn't over. You know, we've seen the opposite side of this. And I really hope I don't have to eat my words on this, but I think we are going to remember that and we are going to respond.
I like it. It's not impossible. That's 100% true. And how sweet would it be to do something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love it. And, you know, I got a little hope from something, too. It's more of a throwback, though. That old Suns Lakers series with Paul Westphal as the coach. Mm-hmm. When we go down 0-2 and then he guarantees that they're going to go on to win the series. And he says, because we're the better team.
Yeah.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. Monty needs to be showing them a tape of that press conference or whatever it was. We need to be inspired. So let's let the team hear that and then run out onto the court. That, you know, and here's the thing. Monty, I know you're listening. Instead of playing our show in the locker room, play the clip of Paul Westphal guaranteeing the series win. Just this once.
Or better yet, just do it on your next press conference. Just go out there and say we're going to do it.
Yeah, that'll work. Yep.
Put a little more pressure on the guys, you know? That's what they need.
And as I say that, I'm like, there are probably people listening that think we really think that the Suns listen to our show in the locker room.
Yeah.
But that's a running joke that the Suns play our show at halftime. We know they don't.
We're not that delusional.
No, we're not.
We are Phoenix Suns homers to a pretty high extent.
Yes.
But we're not delusional.
Not that delusional.
Not that delusional.
Yeah.
All right, so Game 3. We didn't talk about this much in Game 2, but it seemed like we took a different approach with Jokic in that one and tried to just make him beat us one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to go back to that approach?
Well, he did beat us one-on-one, so I don't know. I mean, probably not, but I mean, I think it's so hard to say because I don't know if this is the way that Monty does things. I mean, I imagine he can make adjustments, of course, but I think you just have to see who's hot, because if Jamal Murray and their shooters and Aaron Gordon are cold like in Game 2, then yeah, I mean, double team Jokic. But if those guys are hitting, it's going to be harder. You're not going to be able to do that. Right.
I feel like in this situation, maybe Game 2 would have been the time to go throw some more doubles at him.
Yes.
But then again, you flip the coin. If you're not sending those doubles, or you are sending those doubles and Jamal Murray has, another half second before he has a hand in his face, is he going 3 for 15 and 0 for 9 from 3 again?
Right.
who knows what's exactly going to happen. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Game 4 will be on Sunday at 5 p.m. on TNT. And this holds our bet question.
Yes, so our bet question is, how many total bench points will the Suns have?
I'm going to say more than 4.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen twice in a row. It could happen in game 5 or 4. Who knows? I'm going to say a big fat 18.
18. Wow.
Someone's
Bold.
hitting some threes.
Bold. Okay, I am going to say 14. It's going to be close.
I think
But-
so.
Let us know on Twitter at Sunny and PHX Pod or in the comments on YouTube, Sunny and PHX Podcast. How many points do you think the Suns bench will have in Game 4 on Sunday? And whoever is closest will get a shout out on our next episode.
See, this is me just putting a little bit of bank on Terrence Ross or TJ Warren maybe getting some run as we get in further to this series. And those guys are going to fill it up. Ross more so than Warren, in my opinion, but we haven't got to see Terrence Ross play many playoff minutes. And it's kind of surprising because when you look back to how we finished the regular season and all the run he was getting, it seemed weird that he just got ripped right out of the playoff rotation. It didn't seem like that was the direction things were trending. But
maybe we start him. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that wouldn't be the craziest thing, but
right.
No, I sure would love to see him get at least 10 minutes off the bench in game 3.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope one of our bench guys just really heats up and hits a few threes and gives us that edge to get over the hump. I mean, I look at game 2 and I'm like, if the bench, well, there's a couple things. If the bench can score 16 points instead of 4, we win. If the bench can score even 15 points, we still win. Also, we attempted 5 free throws in that whole game. I don't know how we didn't talk about this. That was Aaron Gordon attempted the same or more than our entire team.
And so did a guy off the bench,
Yeah.
Bruce Brown.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not right. That is egregious in a word.
Yeah, it's painful. And you can argue that the refs are letting him play, but I don't know.
They're letting the Nuggets play.
They're letting the Nuggets
They're
play.
not letting us play. This is my thing. I say the same thing with baseball. If an umpire has a consistently high strike zone, I don't care as long as it's consistent. Players can adjust to that. But if it's all over the place, that's when it becomes a problem. So if they were letting both sides play, that I would have no issue with it, and I actually prefer that. But if you're gonna, let them play, let them play. If you're gonna call it tight on both sides. I don't understand. And this is coming from the guy who all season long said, get used to it. You have to expect this. This is going to happen in the playoffs, and we're going to get mad. And here I am mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, now is the time to get ultra mad about it, too, because these are the games that mean a lot. And man, I mean, has my wife kicked me out of the living room this playoff series because I've been yelling about the refs? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to move out to the office for a game or two. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And I mean, I think there have been some plays where, first of all, Jokic is a flopper.
Right.
I'll just say that. But we've gotten away with some calls on him where I was like, oh, they really didn't blow the whistle there? That was pretty shocking. I've said that for them too. So
Okay.
I don't know, man. The refs, all in all, are just becoming infuriating to a point for me as a Suns fan. It sucks. Just blatantly, it sucks.
It does. No, you're absolutely right. It's painful at this point. So, what are we gonna do about it, though? I mean, we try and give what we can. Work with what we're given, I guess. I mean, and I gotta say, I'm not just gonna be a full-on homer here. We complain constantly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm tired of our complaining.
Yeah, I see it too. I'm not gonna say that Devin Booker is quite Luka Doncic level of complainer or LeBron level of complainer, but it's getting up there.
Right.
It's plenty. And then like Kevin Durant and Chris Paul, it feels like, yeah, you guys are superstars and all-time greats in this league, but maybe you're going a little too far with the refs a lot of these times. Maybe. I don't know. It seems like that attitude, as it accumulates over a season and a career and years, probably doesn't help.
Right. No, you're totally right. Yeah, I mean, I do. I guess I just expect a little bit better, especially if you're complaining to the point that you're not getting back on defense. That's where I really have a problem.
That's the worst.
I understand a little bit of being frustrated, complaining to the ref, but if you're not going to get back on defense because your hands are up and you're in the ref's ear, that's not the ref's issue. Right.
Oh, I might have missed something that happened in this play, but did you catch the one where D-Book and Bruce Brown got a little tangled up or something? They called a foul on Book, and then Bruce Brown was yelling at the referee, going after the referee after he called a foul on Booker for him. Did you see that?
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh, it was weird. I was like, this guy has to be getting pretty close to a technical with all the yelling he's doing after getting a call. I don't know what happened. Maybe Booker gave him something a little cheap that I missed too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe.
See, it was weird though, because, they were both complaining, but the guy who got the call, the good of the call, complained more. I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
That's basketball for you, baby. That's NBA basketball nowadays.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So 2 big games at home. We got to win them both, or this series is about over, in my opinion. That's where I'll leave it.
If you're a Nuggets fan, that I don't know why you're listening to this, but you might be in enemy territory. If you win one of these games, you got to be feeling pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But it's not happening. We're gonna win the next 4, and that's gonna be that.
That's where the homerism comes out, right there.
Exactly.
I'm with you, 100%. Suns in 6.
Yep, that's right. Oh man. Well, with that, we will move to our non-sports section of the show. And our question is from our favorite site, teambuilding.com/blog/icebreaker-questions. And this week's question is, if you could live in any state aside from Arizona, what state would you pick?
Yeah, we both chose to live in Arizona, so that's the default. That's why we're here. But if I were to choose, I'd go the exact opposite of what I'm doing right now. I'd go to one of the northern corners of the country. I'd either go up to Washington or I'd go up to Maine. Just way the heck out there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just up in the corner. And mainly for weather purposes. And I've been to Washington before, and it's beautiful up there. I appreciate that. But I honestly don't know much about Maine. But if I were to do something sporadic, I could fly there and live there. Why not?
I've heard Maine is very nice. I've never been there, but I've heard it's really a nice place.
I don't think there's much to do, but I'm cool.
I think it's like a vacation spot for a lot of East Coasters, like Connecticut, Boston. A lot of people go up to Maine, I think. So, but yeah, I've heard it's great. Never been there. One of these days I'd like to maybe go up there. But that's funny because my answer is also Washington. Washington or Oregon. I'd go back to the Pacific Northwest. I mean, I could live in Spokane again for sure. It would be a little bit tough because it is much smaller, and now I'm accustomed to the big city. So that might look more like a Portland or Seattle. But yeah, I'd go back to the Northwest. I always say if I didn't live in Arizona, I'd probably live in Spokane or Seattle or Portland or Salem or something like that.
Yep. It makes sense though. After you've been through a few summers in the desert, going back up north to some extent doesn't sound too bad every once in a while.
No, yeah. And it's funny because I graduated college in 2016 and I haven't been back up there since. And I've always talked about, I need to go back and try to go to a basketball game or something, but it's just never happened. So one of these days I'll get back up there. Some alumni reunion or something like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good time.
Yeah. But very nice up there. I always will love the Northwest.
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever move back to my college town of Vermilion, South Dakota, population like 5,000 or whatever. I don't think I could go back to that lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, if Spokane with 500,000 is tough, that would definitely be tougher. I also left something out. I could live in Denver, too. That's another option. Maybe I left it out intentionally because of who we're playing, but I love Denver.
Yeah. I've done quite a bit of driving through Colorado, maybe about every angle you can possibly do it. Mm-hmm. And I dig a good portion of that state. I like what's going on there.
Oh, yeah. It's nice. Yeah. Denver was just the place we went quite a bit, like as a kid, and I have very fond memories of Denver, and it's a cool city. So.
Nice. Your Denver was my Minneapolis.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly right.
The big city.
Yep. That's where you got to go for Christmas shopping and
all
that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah.
All right. Does that wrap it up? I think we got her covered. All right. That sounds good. All right. We thank you all for tuning into this one. We'll be back. Let's just say after game 4, we'll be back. Hopefully not a season wrap up. Hopefully we're going to be moving on to games 5 and 6 and maybe 7 at this point. That would be more than fine. But anyways, check us out on Twitter at Sunny and PHX Pod. Our YouTube is Sunny and PHX Podcast. And thank you for tuning in. Go Suns.